Hello and welcome back. So, my name is Tom, and I'm your host for this podcast, Beautiful Ashes. And for this episode, we're going to talk about starting being the hardest part of your journey in starting an expert business or any other kind of business. And the reason for that one is because actually the reason why I'm talking about this episode is because it's really one of the hardest things that I actually took to actually get started in this recording journey or actually just publishing each and every single day. Because here's the thing, I had this idea from years ago, and to be more precise, I think it was about close anywhere to 4 to 7 years ago, but I never actually did anything about it. I was always just looking for research about this, trying to learn more information about that. I always thought I was not ready and I actually couldn't actually just pull the trigger. And because of that, I ended up wasting several years before I actually got into motion or before I actually started publishing, even before I even actually published my first episode. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because launching becomes one of the hardest things or one of the hardest obstacles that you will have to overcome if you want to actually begin anything in this life, whether it's starting a business, starting a new job, starting a new school. It's usually the first moment the moment of kickoff, or the moment that you actually decide to pull the trigger that usually becomes the hardest moment for you to overcome. And I'm going to for you to really to be able to really understand this, I'm going to give you the story of a man called Konstantin Tsiolkovsky. Now, this is a guy that most people don't recognize when it comes to launching space. And, you might know some of the famous scientists like Albert Einstein and Isaac Newton and all these other people who contributed when it comes to space travel. Even the Wright brothers as well. You might remember them because of airplane travel. But, however, there was one man who's an undersung, underestimated or, undervalued kind of contributor when it comes to space travel. And his name is Konstantin Tsiolkovsky. Now, this guy, he was a school teacher. Okay, but he dabbled in sciences every now and then. He dabbled in rocket science every day, and so he was an amateur scientist. So probably like like how Batman is, Bruce Wayne during the day, and at night he's Batman. So he pretty much did the same thing. And so he was a school teacher by day, and at night he was an amateur scientist. And one of the things that he did research about was he did research on the potential for space travel. That was the area of his interest, and he was pretty curious about the area and trying to figure out how to actually make progress in that kind of area. Perhaps because of his own reasons, who knows. Now, one of his biggest contribution when it comes to space travel is that he was able to identify one of the biggest hurdles that anyone would have to overcome in order for them to get into space, and that is the launch problem. Being able to actually launch. You see, it's not about going to, or traveling in space. Most people worry about so you get to space. There's no air there. There's no oxygen there. There's this and that. There's no you need about like oxygen. You need like fuel to be able to travel to maintain motion. You need to worry about pressurization and all these other things, but that was not his concern. What he came to identify was that the biggest hurdle when it comes to travel to space was actually getting off the ground. Because here's the thing, before takeoff, the rocket is completely full. It is packed to the brim. That means it's carrying full capacity at maximum. It is that means fuel and oxygen, so it is carrying at full capacity. That means at that moment before it actually gets off the ground, it bears its most weight. So it is the heaviest it will ever be in the journey to and back to Earth if it's going to come back to Earth. And so at that moment when it leaves the Earth is usually the moment where it is the heaviest that it can be. And at that point, because it's carrying its maximum weight, it requires a huge amount of thrust or propulsion to actually get off the ground. And that is the thing I want to talk about here. Being able to actually start your business. And I want to liken this launch theory or this launch problem when it comes to launching rockets into space as the same kind of problem that most of us face when it actually comes to starting a business or actually starting a podcast or a YouTube video or a YouTube podcast or a YouTube channel, or whatever invention that we have in our lives. The hardest part is usually getting over the launch, because at that point there's a lot of weight that you're carrying, and this could be weight of preconceived perceptions, myths, misconceptions, doubts, fears, and everything that is holding you down. And so you have a lot of weight that you need to shed before you can actually get off the ground. And so for this moment, I want you to know this. If you can actually just get over that fear and decide to actually take a leap of faith and actually just jump, instead of actually looking at all the weight that you're bearing, I want you to just jump off the cliff. Instead of looking whether about your back parachute or you don't, just jump off the cliff and then figure it out on your way down. And so this is the thing I want you to talk about. Starting is usually the hardest part when it comes to any journey, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship, especially when it comes to starting an expert business. And if you can be able to get over it, if you can actually be able to make that leap, you've actually, I think, I don't know how accurate this is, but I think you've done 50% of the job, because that's usually the hardest bit, and most people never actually start. And so if you're able to actually do that, I want to just give you congratulations right now. If you've been following these episodes for a while now and you've actually launched your first episode, I want to give you a big shout out and congratulations to you. Let me know who you are in the comment section below. And if you haven't, I would like to encourage you to actually take that leap of faith, to actually make that leap, to actually take that launch, to actually get off that weight and share that extra weight and actually take off the ground. And so I don't know what is holding you back. I don't know what fears are holding you back. I don't know what kind of mindset is holding you back. I don't know what kind of beliefs are holding you back. But I need you, if you're listening to my voice, I need you to actually make that leap. Take that leap. Get off the ground. Start your first episode. Start your first YouTube video. Start your first recording. Start your first business. Start your first pitch. Start your first networking event. Just whatever your first is, I want you to actually go and do it. Do it afraid. Do it even if you don't know how it's going to come out or you don't know how it's going to work out. But I want you to do it immediately, because that way you're able to overcome the biggest obstacles you're going to face in this journey of starting an entrepreneurship business, or starting an expert business, or in your journey of entrepreneurship. And so I hope you guys learned something from this. Is one of the things that I had to struggle with and it took me years to get over it. But the grace of God, I was able to get over it. And so I'd like to encourage you guys, whatever you are, whatever it is you're doing, whatever it is that you want to start, even if you're not trying to build an expert business, even if you, by random chance, you encountered this episode or this podcast, I'd like to encourage you to actually make that leap. Take that leap of faith and actually get off the ground, get moving. All right. So that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And I'm sorry, I have a blockage in my nose. I think I don't know what's up with that, but anyway. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'd love to hear you guys. What do you think is holding you back? What kind of weight are you carrying right now that is holding you back? Are you afraid it's not going to work out? Are you afraid that you might be wasting your time? Are you afraid that it's not going to work out? Whatever it is, let me know in the comment section below. And that's it for this episode. Bye.